News with breaking news.
That breaking news we have been following this morning. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are creating America's first transcontinental railroad. Now, under this deal, Union Pacific will acquire Norfolk Southern. According to the UP, the connection will combine over 50,000 miles of track across 43 states. The companies together will create a combined enterprise of over $250 billion. The companies say the Transcontinental Railroad will lower highway congestion and wear and tear on the roads.
More breaking news this morning. Omaha police looking for a suspect after an overnight incident. It happened about 1 o'clock near 16th and Pine this morning. Police say they were called for a domestic disturbance where one person received minor injuries. They say that person fled the area before police arrived. The search for them is ongoing. Stay with First Alert 6 on air and online as we work to learn more information about this breaking news. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming on this Tuesday morning. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. Once again, a First Alert to another First Alert 6 weather day. Another very warm forecast in store, and then also a First Alert to storm chances later on tonight.
Yeah, we're going to take all this heat and humidity and likely turn it into some thunderstorms. It could be fairly noteworthy tonight, so we got to watch out for these. So let's dive into the details. 97 for the high today, almost exactly like the last couple of days. It's hot, it's humid. 97 could feel as hot as 115 this afternoon. So there's the first few headlines there. Then it all turns tonight after 8 o'clock with the thunderstorms that start to develop more and more the deeper we go into the evening and overnight. And you notice by early Wednesday morning, there still could be some in the area, and that's why Wednesday's our First Alert 6 weather day, mostly for the morning hours. We'll see how the storms roll through and kind of assess if we need to keep it going for the afternoon, because we could get a few storms even into the early afternoon hours on Wednesday, the way things are looking. But overnight tonight, a lot of thunderstorm activity with some wind and some hail potential. We just fell to 74 degrees here in the last hour. Odd little cool down there with a dew point that's actually been climbing. So, hey, we'll take it. But from here, we're going to warm up significantly. 77 Papillion and Millard, 78 in Bellevue. A lot of other locations, mid and upper 70s, starting to heat up. And now from here on out, it's all about how fast we climb and how high we are going to climb. Muggy meter, it's going to be up there in the steamy part of this scale and get to near 80 with the dew point. I would not surprise me if we go a little bit above where this line is here. Last couple evenings, we've been getting some pretty atrocious dew points with this heat and humidity combo. So that's why even by 7 o'clock tonight, still could have a heat index up near 110. So we'll be near 100 at noon, and then it's well above that all afternoon into the early evening hours, setting the stage for the storms. So here's where we're going. By 9 o'clock, low 80s. By noon, we're up to near 90. Still pretty quiet. Still pretty quiet this afternoon. We're likely waiting close to sunset before any of these storms really start to become more widespread. By 3 p.m., we're at 96. Should be able to make it to about 97 for the high this afternoon. And some places a little bit cooler, especially to the northwest where we have some more clouds during the day. And then as we go through the evening, notice still pretty quiet at 7. First couple storms by 8 and could be developing on the Nebraska side. And then we see more and more. You see there's a few more on the map by 10. A few more on the map by midnight, 1 o'clock. And wherever you're at on the south edge of these, I think that's where a little band like that gets going, something back here, and that's where the wind would likely reside as they march east over the course of the evening and overnight. And I think that puts most of our area in line for some wind gusts and some heavy rain as we go into the early morning hours even of Wednesday. Still some left on the map with temperatures right around 70 degrees. And you'll notice behind even that batch of strong to severe storms, there's still some storms here that could be lingering for the morning commute. So we could be talking about downpours that are not severe, but again, any water on the roads with rain falling, we tend to have a pretty eventful morning commute, and that's something we'll have to watch here. Latest severe weather risk area, I believe this was just updated. So a 2 out of 5 on the scale here for anything after 8 o'clock. And again, it's mostly wind gusts and heavy rain from this round. So small risk of some hail. I don't think there's going to be much to worry about with tornadoes at this point, although you can't rule it out entirely. I think it's pretty darn low with how these are going to move through. And you also got to watch out for some heavier rain. Notice the best odds for the heavy rain on the north half of the map. So near and north of I-80 is where you get the 1 to 3 inch rain totals. I would not be surprised. You can see models even hinting at it here, just a few little pockets. There could be some isolated 4s and maybe up to 5 inch totals that could lead to some flash flooding. So near and north of I-80 need to pay attention to the rainfall aspect of this overnight, heading into the early morning hours of tomorrow too.
All right, we will be paying very close attention. So after today's heat and tonight's storms into the morning, some good stuff's on the way.
That's where the good weather's
That's
going.
where the good weather is. Okay.
Near 80 for the high on Wednesday, so it's a lot cooler there, which is great. But it's still going to be humid on Wednesday. So keep that in mind with storm potential through about 3 o'clock. And then this is what Cerise was talking about. Look at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with that muggy meter down here in the pleasant part of the scale. That's great news. That's 3 days right there that are the complete opposite of the 3 we've just had. With heat and humidity changing course, low dew points, and temperatures that likely struggle to hit 80 degrees. So that means most of the afternoon in the 70s, right up near 80 still on Sunday with a little more humidity. It does get back to summer by next week, but that right there is a healthy little break. And I think it's going to be very welcomed, and it's going to be very enjoyable out there as you make your way out and about. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Busy weekend too. You got concerts, got the Omaha days. There's county fairs all over the place. So busy weekend. The weather's going to work.
I was going to say busy for you too, because it doesn't just let you cruise on by with whatever forecast.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Rusty, thank you. In the meantime, we'll get an update on traffic with Jarrett Lansford this morning. A couple of crashes to talk about.
Yeah, and we're seeing some impacts as a result of these. We've been tracking one of them at 43rd and F area for a little bit, and so that's one. And then we just had another one that came in just a little bit ago that we'll touch on in just a bit as well. That's going to be impacting things. Let's start with the 43rd and F. So this is not a crash that's necessarily in a major road, but you do have people who use this. And we also can show you what's going on in this area. There's the view of it. Tow truck on the scene trying to get that out of the way, but obviously that's a problem. They're over the sidewalk, and you can see in the background the police car blocking the road as they continue that operation. So F Street is blocked. You can't use that there in that area around 43rd. We'll of course first alert you when we do get that completely moved away and let you know when that situation resolves. That is one thing with that crash. You also are looking at the traffic lights being impacted around that area as well. So you want to treat that as an all-way stop if you're in that area. So here is where you have that around 50th and F. So keep an eye out for that. Now that other crash that I mentioned is right around here. This is 144th southbound near I-80. So a lot of traffic coming through that area as well. You're getting some delays as a result of that. So we'll keep you posted on both those crashes, and how those situations evolve, anything else that happens this morning.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, new this morning, Omaha police need your help tracking down a wanted man. Junior Domingo Batista is wanted for first-degree child sexual assault. If you know his whereabouts, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. Also new this morning, a motorcyclist is in the hospital after he was hit by a car.
Yeah, officers are called to the eastbound lanes of I-80 near 60th just after 9 o'clock last night. Omaha police say an SUV hit the 40-year-old victim. The SUV then left the scene, rear-ending a Chevy Impala just east of 42nd. The SUV drove away from that scene as well. The driver of the Impala was not hurt. Happening this week, the man accused in a decades-old murder case is scheduled to plead guilty or no contest to a lesser charge.
That's right. Mary Kay Hesty was stabbed to death in 1969 and left in a ditch in Wahoo. 77-year-old Joseph Ambrose was arrested last fall. Community members are planning to gather outside the courthouse to let prosecutors know they're not happy.
It gives them an opportunity to express themselves. And maybe make a difference. Will it make a difference? Nobody knows. But at this point in time, it's the community's likely last opportunity to seek justice. It is unacceptable to the community for the suspect not to be tried, by a jury of his peers.
Well, the protests will take place outside the courthouse tomorrow at noon and Thursday morning before the hearing.
All right, over here at the safety desk with Maria Cade. Maria, breast cancer rates among women are on the rise.
Yeah, they are, and doctors say that alcohol could actually be the reason for this. So experts say there is a causal link between alcohol and 7 different types of cancer, and that includes breast cancer. They say that the majority of Americans, though, they don't know about this link. So data shows that women have been drinking more over the past few decades. Researchers say the trend is most evident in women with higher levels of education. They also say it could be driven by women having kids later and more marketing of alcohol to women.
Over 250,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S., and that's too much. That's way too high. 44,000 of them, there's a direct correlation between alcohol and them developing the breast cancer.
Now, the latest research suggests that risks for breast cancer rise even if you just have 1 alcoholic drink a day. But the U.S. dietary guidelines, including those for alcohol, they're expected to be updated at some point this year. So we could learn a little bit more about this link.
All right, we're hoping so. Maria, thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. Taking a live look outside on this Tuesday morning. You can see the sunshine right there. Off to another warm start to the day, and the heat just getting started. We have had a heat streak, 3 consecutive First Alert 6 weather days. Today is the last. Still going to be hot, but it makes us feel good because it's the final one, Rusty.
Yeah, you can see the very end of it, and it's going to come to an end with some storms tonight too. So a couple aspects we got to watch today. 97 for the high, up near 115 for the heat index. Same story as the last couple of days. That is by far what you're going to deal with here during the daylight hours. Then it's tonight after 8 o'clock when storm potential moves through, and those could linger all the way into the morning hours on Wednesday. So that's why we've added Wednesday to the string of First Alert 6 weather days due to the lingering storm potential right up through the morning commute. And then beyond that, that weather looks phenomenal with highs in the 70s. We got a lot of 70s right now. Honestly, this is where we could be by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday with temperatures like this. That's just how nice it is looking to end the week. So current temperatures pretty warm here in the morning hours. Muggy meter right on the edge of muggy and steamy. It'll go up a little bit today, and that's what drives the heat index all the way up near 115 at times this afternoon. It'll be 100 plus basically all afternoon until about sunset, the way things are looking at this point, as all the heat and humidity build closer to the storms that'll get going. So let's take you through the timing again By 5 o'clock, we're looking at 97 for the high, and then some cooler 80s and clouds to the north start to drop in. Some thunderstorms fire up as early as about 8 o'clock, and then they actually move northeast a little bit towards 9 and 10 o'clock. At some point, they'll turn a little more east and perhaps southeast through the course of the overnight. And this is what we'll have to watch for. These leading edge of these little bowing structures right here. And we could have a couple of these trying to kick out some 60 to maybe 80 mile per hour wind gusts as they move through. So you add that to the heavy rain potential. Again, there's another one, could be one there, and then another one rolling through the Des Moines area. So those are what we'll be watching on the south edge of this complex that develops, and watch as it marches on through, and we'll likely see still some rain on the map to start off the day. This is 7 a.m. as we head into Wednesday morning, and that's where we have potential for maybe some weaker thunderstorms, but again, any rain with that morning commute, and that's where you run into some problems on the road. So after 8 o'clock, that's what we're dealing with the thunderstorm potential tonight into the morning hours tomorrow. A 2 out of 5 on the scale with severe potential, and I think it's mostly wind out of the three main ones we usually talk about: tornado, wind, and hail threat. Mostly wind with this one, but also some heavy rain. Best odds for that are going to be near and north of I-80, where we have some 1 to 3 inch totals that could be fairly widespread, maybe some as high as 4 and 5 when you factor in that heat, or when you factor in some of the heavier downpours. Again, then here's how Wednesday looks with some rain and thunderstorms for the morning hours, but gradually weakening and moving out, and then still could have a little rain by the middle of the day on Wednesday, but there shouldn't be too much left after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see how it dries out considerably beyond that, and then 79 for the high on Thursday. Big dip in the muggy meter Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's going to be highly enjoyable. Everybody should love that nice weather that's on the way.
We like to see that dip every once in a while. All right, getting into August. Hard to believe it's already going to be August really soon. Are we going to see that muggy meter start to go back up again?
That's the way it looks. So back to the humid stuff, it looks like by the end of the weekend and then into the early part of next week, we're going to be talking about temperatures, though, that aren't atrocious, up into the 80s, back closer to where we should be this time of year. So got the extremes, and then we'll just kind of settle out and be fairly middle of the road by next week.
Just nice summer temperatures,
go.
right? Bearable.
Yes.
All right, let's get to traffic now. You got an update on that crash on 43rd and F?
Yeah, we've been watching that situation unfold. And it looks like we've towed away the vehicle, but we do still have F blocked off at this time. So you're going to need to avoid that area here. Still, imagine that will likely open up here shortly, but for the time being, avoid that area near 43rd and F, and continue to watch 50th and F, where we are looking at the traffic signals being impacted as a result of that one. A little slow right through that area. Our other crash, 144th southbound, right around I-80. You can see how things backing up through there. And of course, our construction zone there, as you're heading along I-80, starting to show signs of delays. We zoom out all the way. You can see that most of the metro is moving along pretty well. We just kind of hit on some of the worst spots that we're seeing. We'll keep an eye on how things unfold through the rest of the morning, but those are the spots that you need to be keeping in mind as you're heading out the door this morning.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, get your sauce. Welcome back, everybody. Get your sauces ready and gather a lot of napkins.
Oh yeah, today is National Chicken Wing Day. Buffalo, New York Mayor Stan Mikowski started the observance back in 1977 in honor of his city's namesake dish. Celebrating it this year can be pretty easy. A number of chains are offering deals and promotions. The Buffalo Wild Wings is offering 6 free wings with a purchase of $10 or more. Wingstop is offering 5 free wings with a qualifying purchase. All right.
Those are good deals.
Does anybody here like really, really hot wings? How's the meter for you guys?
I can do hot.
You know, they typically have like when they do all the sauces, they have like, I'm probably about in the middle is where I tap out.
Yeah. I can't do the heat, but you know, I've always wanted to challenge myself to do hot ones. I'm obsessed with that series, and I think in the moment I could push myself to do it. But if I had the choice, I would never.
I do a sweet heat, like a mango habanero. Like, you know what I mean?
It is hot.
Yeah, but a little sweet goes a long way with the heat.
Barbecue
Yeah,
sauce.
I like barbecue.
sauce.
I like dry
Buffalo
ranch.
sauce.
Good.
Now we want wings, don't you? All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
I'm Aaron Hartley. It is a First Alert 6 weather day as we get started on this Tuesday. Let's get a check in on that forecast right now with the Senior Chief, Rusty Lord.
Yeah, it's all about the heat for one more day. Then it turns to storm potential tonight after 8 o'clock. So 97 will feel a lot like the last 2 days. Heat index up near 115. Yeah, we've been there. So be smart and be safe out there. One more day with this intense heat, and then storms tonight after 8 o'clock could still be ongoing by this time tomorrow morning as they continue to move on through with severe potential overnight as well. So first things first, hot heat index up near 115 this afternoon for a third and final day. Pretty quiet on the satellite and radar right now. Some storms to the north. That's where they are going to stay. But the severe potential then turns into our area tonight after 8 o'clock. A 2 out of 5 on the scale. We'll watch those march through. Strong straight line wind and heavy rain. The two things you need to pay attention for tonight. Let's send it over to Jarrett with the latest on that crash.
Yeah, this is 43rd and F area where we've been watching this with F Street still blocked off as a result of this ongoing situation. So you're going to need to avoid F Street right around 43rd. We've also seen some traffic signal impacts as a result of this crash right around 50th and F. So make sure that you are maybe avoiding that area for the time being. If you are going to 50th, make sure you treat that as an all-way stop. You've also got a crash on southbound 144th as you're getting near I-80. That backing things up in the early going. Some delays on I-80 as well as you enter that construction zone.
Breaking news we are following this morning. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are creating America's first transcontinental railroad. Under this agreement, Union Pacific will acquire Norfolk Southern. According to UP, the connection will combine over 50,000 miles of track across 43 states. The companies together will create a combined enterprise of over $250 billion.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.